Eagles and Cowboys. And for our outside view, to get a better perspective on the boys that wear the star, we'll turn things over to Drew Davison. He is with the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, covers the Cowboys on a regular basis. Drew, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Very much. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. And we know that, boy, I'll tell you what, the reality show known as the Dallas Cowboys certainly has been entertaining for you this year, I'm sure. Every week a different storyline. Every week it seems like another win for the Dallas Cowboys. First and foremost, though, I do know that you tweeted out not that long ago that Emmett Cleary working at first-team left tackle. So it looks like there'll be a new left tackle the Eagles might see on Sunday.
Tyron Smith, the Cowboys All-Pro left tackle, who was elected his fourth Pro Bowl earlier this month, is out with a back injury, and his knee's been bothering him of late as well, so he's going to miss his third game of the year. So that's obviously a big blow to the Cowboys, one of the top left tackles in the game. But they like Emmett Cleary. He's played at Boston College, probably not a real household name. He's making his first NFL start. So certainly I'm sure that they've been told, hey, it's okay if you get a holding penalty, just don't let Dak Prescott take a big hit.
And Dak Prescott, I guess the reports are that he's expected to start the game, but will Eagles fans see Tony Romo at all?
I do not think so. I think there's a better chance that Mark Sanchez, the third-string quarterback, gets in over Tony Romo. I mean, Tony Romo's the guy who's been injured, broken a bone in 3 of the last 5 games he's played. So they certainly don't want to risk him to an injury, especially if something were to happen to Dak. They certainly feel good that Tony Romo could keep their Super Bowl dreams alive. So I don't see him,
Spending some time with Drew Davison, the Cowboys beat reporter for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Drew, you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sorry, cell phone dropped out a little bit. No big deal. So you're talking about the changes that are going to take place and who the Eagles might see on the Cowboys side of the ball. They certainly, it looks like we'll see Ezekiel Elliott. In fact, Ezekiel Elliott said, "Jerry told me I'm playing." Should we read anything into that Jerry's telling him he's playing, not Jason Garrett?
Well, I mean, Jerry Jones always likes, to talk and be around the team, and he is the GM, as everyone knows. But Jerry Jones is a guy who, obviously that came straight from the coaches' meeting, or Jason Garrett told Jerry himself. So I guess Jerry felt the need to personally deliver that news to Ezekiel Elliott. But yeah, I mean, Ezekiel Elliott and all the healthy starters are going to play, but I don't expect them to be playing the entire game. I mean, they might play the first half and a few series of the third quarter, but certainly the Cowboys want to stay fresh, want to keep their edge, but they certainly don't want to risk these guys to injury.
Drew, what would it mean to the Cowboys to sweep the season series with the Eagles? Because obviously, they won that first game. They came from behind. The Eagles had a 10-point lead, I believe, in the fourth quarter. Cowboys came back. They won that one. I know there's not a lot at stake here, obviously, this weekend, but what would it mean to those players to sweep the season series against this club?
Well, I think it'd mean a lot. I mean, all of them understand the Eagles-Cowboys rivalry, and even more than that, they have a chance to get to 14-2, which would be the first Cowboys team ever to hit the 14-win mark in the regular season. So when you think of all the great Super Bowl teams, none of them went 14-2. So they certainly would like to, go down as the best with the best regular season record of anyone. So, and obviously in order to do that, they've got to sweep the Eagles.
I saw you had an article out after the Cowboys win over the Lions where Sean Lee ripped his teammates in the first half. He's been a pain in the side of many teams throughout his career. What kind of leadership quality does he have? How important is he to the success of that defense?
Oh, there's no question he is the leader of the defense. And the Cowboys really have a lot of great leaders, starting with Jason Witten, and even Dak and Zeke have shown some good leadership skills early in their career. But for what Jason Witten means to the offense and the entire team, Sean Lee certainly means to the defense. And he's a guy who's never played in the postseason. You can tell he's hungry to get there, and he expects a certain level of play, especially from a defense that, really doesn't have many big names. No Pro Bowlers on it this year, even though Sean Lee arguably should have been. But yeah, I mean, there's no question Sean Lee's the heart and soul of the Cowboys defense.
I've seen some reports that Mark Sanchez has been getting a lot of the reps lately in practice. And as you just said, earlier, we probably won't see Tony Romo for the reason that they want to keep him healthy. What would it mean, or have you talked to Mark Sanchez about what it might mean for him to get the chance to take the field back here in Philadelphia, where he obviously played for a little while?
I think it'd be nice for him. I mean, he was, as you said, on the Eagles at one point in his career, and I think, I think Mark Sanchez obviously wants to play, still feels he has the talent, but I think he's kind of accepted that he's probably going to be viewed more of a backup going forward instead of a starter, after losing the job in Denver earlier in the year. So, but I certainly think he'd like to play, like to stay fresh, and kind of at least, to a certain extent, have a little audition for teams in the offseason to show he still has talent, he still has the ability to play at this level.
We're talking a little bit with Drew Davison to get our outside view on the Cowboys. He writes for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. And, Drew, you mentioned 14-2 would be the first time in franchise history. The 92 team, 13-3. The 2007 team, 13-3. The fact that we're talking about the Dallas Cowboys with a record of 13-2 going into this ball game based on where they were last year to where they are at this point, my question to you then is, what do you put as the top 1, 2, or 3 reasons that the Cowboys have had such a big turnaround in just such a short period of time?
Well, I think it starts with Dak Prescott. I mean, for as good as Ezekiel Elliott has been, Darren McFadden, who became the lead rusher last year in about week 6, rushed for the 4th most yards in the league. And the Cowboys, of course, still went 4-12, went 1-11 without Tony Romo. Just quite simply couldn't find a suitable backup quarterback, going through it 3 times. So certainly I think it starts with Dak Prescott and what he's been able to do at the quarterback position and kind of soften the blow of losing Tony Romo. And then I would just look at the defense. I mean, the defense could not create a takeaway, didn't really have a pass rush last year. They've exceeded expectations with a bunch of no-name guys that, people outside of Dallas probably have no idea who they are when you look at Benson Mayowa or Malik Collins, a 3rd-round pick, Anthony Brown, their 6th-round picks, playing pretty good cornerback. So they certainly, have all these young guys kind of stepping up at the right time.
Wanted to ask you about Jason Garrett, because I know a lot of people are talking about him as a possible Coach of the Year candidate, and for some obvious reasons. But from the outside, we hear about Jerry Jones. We see Jerry Jones. It looks like he pulls some strings. What exactly is that relationship like between Jerry Jones and Jason Garrett, and how much credit should Garrett get for the success?
Oh, he should get a lot. I mean, this is when you look at what went wrong last year, Jerry Jones was all in on bringing a guy like Greg Hardy in, who ended up being a clubhouse cancer, and kind of handing the reins to Joseph Randall, who, fell off the tracks both on and off the field. So Jason Garrett really has pushed hard to bring in what he calls the quote-unquote right kind of guys. And I think, kind of through the draft, when you look at the offensive line, Tyron Smith and Travis Frederick and Zach Martin. And then defensively, the Sean Lees and Tyrone Crawfords, they really do have some good leaders and the right kind of guy that Jason Garrett, preaches. So I think he certainly deserves a lot of credit. And more than that, I think his coordinators also do. I mean, Scott Linehan doing what he's done with the rookie quarterback and a rookie running back has been pretty remarkable.
Drew Davison with us from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. And Drew, as I'm sure this doesn't surprise you, there are big pockets of Dallas Cowboy fans even here in South Jersey. So I will remind our listeners, you can follow Drew on Twitter at Drew Davison, Davison is his Twitter account, writes for the Star-Telegram. He's in that Cowboys locker room and in Frisco on a regular basis as he covers the Cowboys each and every week for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Drew, we thank you so much for your time and for giving us the outside view. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for having me on.